Hello and welcome to EverLogic Training. My name is Jennifer Fuel. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today, where we will be learning about the text scheduler in EverLogic, and we will also go into the EverLogic mobile app. So on the agenda for the technician scheduler, we will view as a technician, where we will be able to adjust the problem, cause, solution, and status. We will also be able to start and stop time and complete jobs. As a manager, you will also be able to update problem, cause, solution, and status. You'll be able to adjust the start and stop time along with completing the work. You can assign texts, and we'll talk about continuing work on another day. And then also I'll show you where some reports are available to you. We'll then go into the EverLogic mobile app, where I will log in as a technician. We'll see the items listed, such as the dashboard, their open jobs, some job stats. Also, they'll be able to start a service job, and then they'll have times where they can adjust and then select vehicles, images, and parts for the service repair order. A salesperson will also have access to a dashboard, and they will be able to add customers and a deal from the mobile app. And then as a manager, you'll also have access to a dashboard, and then you'll have access to all of the above on the mobile app. So let's go ahead and get started in EverLogic. Today we are on the Parts and Service tab, and we're going into the Technician Scheduler. Now, with most calendars, at the top you'll see where you can change your view. You can view as a month per technician or for all techs. You can view as a week per technician or all techs. Or as in myself, I'm just viewing the day. So I'm looking at today, Friday, June 3rd. Thank goodness it's Friday. And I want to point out the items listed in color at the top of the calendar. So I'm going to refer to the calendar as the grid or the calendar grid, and the color items at the top I will refer to as the tech clipboard. So for instance, James Bond has nothing assigned to him today on his clipboard. I see Phoebe has 2 items assigned to her clipboard, along with John Tech and John Wick. They both have 2 jobs already assigned to their clipboard. It's very important to remember the color blocks at the top are known as the text clipboard. So when you are working in a repair order, if you assign the technician directly from a repair order, that job will automatically show in the tech clipboard. And that's up at the top of the calendar grid. I also want to point out repair job number 10527. 10527 repair number 1, which is a broken step, was assigned to Phoebe. 10527 repair order 1 was also assigned to John Tech. So you can have multiple techs assigned to the same job. Now, let's just mention if, for instance, James Bond is not here today. So he's off on vacation, let's say. On the left side panel under Technicians, you'll see that the techs that are displaying have a check mark next to their name. I'm going to remove the check mark next to James Bond's name, and you'll see he is no longer listed. So if you have someone that is on vacation or off for the day, you can remove them by removing the check mark next to their name. If you need to add someone, you would then just open their tech clipboard up by clicking that radio box. So I have now opened the clipboard for Luke Skywalker. Now, take a look at Luke. He has been assigned repair order 10424, both jobs 1 and 2. So he will be working on repairing a skylight and floor damage on the same repair order 10424, jobs 1 and job 2. And then to point out job number 10356, job number 1 was assigned to Phoebe. 10356 repair order job 2 was assigned to Luke Skywalker. So you may have multiple jobs, as we learned, within one repair order, but have different techs assigned to those individual jobs. All right, let's talk about assigning the jobs to the techs within the tech scheduler. So at the lower left corner, you'll see you'll have the option to go to unassigned repairs. Now, please notice that each of these repairs have a plus symbol to the left of the wrench. And if you click on those plus symbols, it will open up the repair order and displaying the multiple jobs within those repair orders. So for instance, repair order 10428 has 3 repair jobs within that one repair order. Most of these just have 1, but again, as you click on the plus symbol, you'll open up and see how many repair orders are within that specific repair order. Now, if you do not assign a job to a tech within the repair order itself, you can assign it here on the tech scheduler. And you'll do so by simply doing a click, hold, and drag function from the left side panel onto the tech's clipboard, as I've just done with number 10654. All right, let's see if we can work with these 3, 10428. Again, if I take this specific job, click, hold, and drag it, and drop it onto the text clipboard, I have now assigned John Tech repair order 10428, repair number 1. So he is assigned to job number 1 on 10428. I can take job 2 from that same repair order, click, hold, and drag it, and drop it onto another tech's clipboard. So when the techs come in for the day, they see what's assigned to them by looking at the clipboard at the top of the calendar grid. Now, this is very important as we proceed forward, as the technicians begin to start working on these jobs. So at this time, please notice each of these jobs have a little clock on them. Okay? And we'll come back to that shortly. So let's say that Luke comes in today and he is ready to work on the broken step. Repair order 10527, repair job number 1. So what Luke will do is double click When he does that, he will have another window that will populate with some specific detail, and he can go in and modify some of these things. So let's see what's here. We've got his name, the repair order number, the customer's name. If the unit information is not there, he could advise his manager, and the manager can go in and override some of these details. Okay, now we can also choose the status of this particular job. Remember, the overall status of an RO is different from each job status. So this is specific to this job, repair number 1 on repair order 10527. So currently it's on his clipboard. And we can choose other options here, like waiting on approval, waiting on the customer, or what we are about to start is work in progress. Now, whether he chooses this or not, it's automatically going to make the selection work in progress once he clicks on the start button. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start this job, and notice that it has today's date and it changed the time to the time currently. I'm going to go ahead and save. And please notice it is now on the calendar grid. As you hover over it, it does give some detail, or you can double click on it to open up to make specific notes. So what we suggest is that when your techs are adding notes to the problem, cause, and solution fields, that they separate their comments with either using a slash or a dash. That way you will see what was originally placed by the service writer versus what the tech has entered in after the slash or a dash. Now you can work with it however your dealership chooses to do so. That's just a recommendation from EverLogic. Okay, I'm going to leave that as such and save it for now. Now I do want to mention, as a manager, you can make adjustments. So if this needed to be adjusted within the grid, you can actually get a double-edged arrow and click, hold, and drag it to make it 220 to 430. You'll notice in the pop-up as I hover over the time. Or I can get that double-edged arrow and minimize or make it smaller, as you can see as you hover over the times here. I want to make some adjustments here as a manager. I'm going to say Luke forgot to start this job when he came in today. We're going to start it at 12:20. So as a manager, I'm coming in and I'm making this adjustment for him, and I'm going to go ahead and save my changes. So you see now how that specific job segment has moved to the correct time on the calendar grid. All right, let's go ahead and say that Phoebe came in today. She started working on repair order 1. I'm going to indicate here that she started working on this at 1 o'clock so I can show you how the timing will be tracked. In fact, let's say that Phoebe is still working on this. We'll save that for now. And so again, just to point out the little clock here, these are currently in progress. All right, let's say that it's time for Luke to go on a break or lunch, or maybe he needs to leave early today. Okay, let's take each one of these as an example. So he's going to double click, open up his time, and then he will click on the stop button to take his break or lunch or leave for the day. So it's going to stop him at the current time. I'm going to click Save, and you'll see how that adjusted the timeline on his calendar grid. Now, if Luke leaves for the day, he can leave this job open in progress and finish it tomorrow when he comes in from the calendar. All he would do is open it back up and start working on it again by clicking the Start button. Let's say that Phoebe is done with her job. She'll double click to open up this window, and from this window there is a button here, Technician's Work Completed. So I'm going to click that button, and please notice now there is a red check mark on top of the clock indicating that this job is complete and has been closed out. You'll now see a red check mark on the clock indicating that this particular job has been completed. That is the text scheduler. Simple as that to use in EverLogic. Now, I do want to point out at the top, you would click Save if you wanted to save what you have. And there is also a refresh button. So in case you do make changes throughout the day, you can click on the refresh button. And there's also a print key. So in case you do want to print this for your text. Okay. We're going to go ahead and close the text scheduler. And while I'm in EverLogic, I am going to go ahead and show you some of the reports that are available here. So in the Parts and Service folder, under Service, you'll see the Service Labor History. Let's start there. And you can put in different parameters at the top, depending on what you would like to search for. I'm going to select a technician, and you can also select whether you want to view all, just the open, closed, or voided ROs. I'm going to choose all this time for James Bond and click Search, and it then displays all of his repair orders. Now again, if you want to narrow your search, you can always choose. For instance, if I only wanted to look at the retail repair orders that he's worked on, then I can click on the funnel and choose retail, and it narrows my search. I can also click on the funnel for the RO status. Now remember, this is the overall RO status. And as you click on that funnel, I could choose to only view the open jobs. And as you see here, it narrows your search. So depending on how you would like to search, you do have the parameters at the top, or again, you can use the filter button in the grid itself. These items can also be exported into an Excel spreadsheet if necessary. I could even set this up as a flex view. We did look at flex views last week, and you can also save a flex view from here if you'd like. All right, so this is the labor history. I'm going to go ahead and close this for now and go to the Reports tab in EverLogic. And under this Service section, there is a drop-down menu for your technician. Under the technician, you have 5 reports we'll look at. First, we have the scheduler versus the actual hours. And when this little box comes up, you'll want to select your location and your technician's name. You can choose a month range or a time range, and then print that just to see what it looks like. Okay, this is the report for Luke Skywalker on the jobs he had last month, showing his logged hours and including any override hours the manager may have completed. All right, let's take a look at another report. I'm going to the Reports tab and look at the down drop menu next to Technician, and we see the Tech Clock Time. All right, the Tech Clock Time, I will select my technician along with their location and any timeline that you wish here, and then we can print this. All right, it shows that Luke had a job. It was a labor code that was used on that particular job, and it shows his start date and the calculated hours for that specific job. Back onto the Reports tab under Service. In that drop-down menu, we have Tech Labor. We can select our location, our technician. You can specify what type of repair order you're wanting to search, and then print. I'm going to back this one up to May and then print. Okay, you're going to get a little bit more detail here. We have the repair order number, the type that we selected, along with the RO status. Okay, this is the date he completed the job on that RO. This is the problem that was reported on the repair order. And then you have your labor rate, the actual hours that it took him to complete these jobs, the pay hours, which he will get paid for, and then the billable hours for the customer, and then your total in the far right column. That's the technician labor. Let's then go back here and choose Tech Productivity Detail. Again, you can select an RO type and a range, then print. I didn't select an RO type this time, so I wanted to show you in the RO type field. It shows the different types of ROs that he was working on during this time frame, along with the RO number. It then gives you the RO date with the completion date, and if that RO is closed, you'll see a closed date in the RO closed date field. All right, we've got a lot of detail here. We have parts income, parts cost of goods and services, parts discount if any was given, freight if it was included. Here's your labor income, and then your labor discount if it was provided. Any sublet charges that was included on these ROs, along with supplies and environmental fees. And then you've got your billable hours to the customer and the actual hours it took the tech to complete the job, along with the pay hours. That's a lot of good information on this report. And then lastly, we will go to see the Tech Productivity Summary Report. On the Summary Report, you'll notice you do not select a technician, only the location. Okay, I will back this up to May and print. So it's going to show all of the technicians at my dealership, and it will show the billable, actual, and pay hours, along with the shop efficiency for those techs during that time range. All right, a lot of good stuff on the reports that's available in EverLogic under the Reports tab, under Service and Technician dropdown. All right, so we've covered the technician scheduler and we've seen the reports. Let's now take a look at the EverLogic mobile app. All right, I am going to log in first as a technician, okay? And so I've got my technician's name, their password. We're going to log in. The EverLogic mobile app is available to use on any mobile device that has access to the internet. So we are now looking at the dashboard for my technician, James Bond. Let's see what's on his dashboard. So we have some work stats, including his hours this week, the jobs for this week, and it also includes the hours and jobs completed from last week, along with his open jobs. Now his open job is listed at the bottom. So let's take a quick look here. It's repair order 10428 and it's job number 1. This is for Gail Clark with a Jayco Embark, and we are going to winterize this vehicle, and he can double click on it to open it up. This is where he will see the start and stop buttons, and then to the far right you'll see the complete button. So let's go ahead and start this job. Okay. Now you will see that job is currently in progress. Okay. So I'm going to open it up again. Just double click to open it because I would like to show you some of the tabs and details that are available here on this job. So we've got some specific details on the customer's name, the status, the problem, cause, and solution. So remember, we suggest that if your technician needs to add a note, they would first add a slash or a dash. So again, it is recommended that the tech add a slash or a dash before they make their comments. This way you can just differentiate the comments that the service writer placed on the ticket versus what the tech may have made a note on the service repair order. Okay. We'll go ahead and click Save. And then that job is still in progress. And you see here where we've added that note. Okay, I double click to open it back up because I'd like to share some more details with you here on the tab known as Times. Now, I want to point this out, and remember we said that if they don't complete a job on one day, that job can carry over to the next day. So for instance, this repair order was originally started on Thursday, and you'll see the start and stop times that this tech was working on this particular job. Right now we have him working on it, started as of today at 2:37. We'll come back and stop it shortly and we'll see how it'll place the date and time here for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the vehicle tab, and this outlines the vehicle that he's working on. And this information cannot be changed. As you see when I hover over the fields, you get the little red emblem indicating no changes can be made to this field. Let's go to the Images tab. This is where your technician can upload photos. They can take photos and directly upload them, or they can choose photos from a file, as I'm doing now. And I'll just add in a couple, and these may or may not be related to this specific repair order, but as we've selected those images, I now want to add the image. By clicking the green button, those images have now been added. And then your tech can go on to the Parts tab, where they will see the different parts that are assigned to this job. They can also search for parts if necessary. For instance, I'll just show you what this looks like by searching for a hitch, and you'll see they have the different selections to choose from. And let's say they're going to go with this one. We'll add one on to the repair order by clicking the green button. Okay. That's your parts, and there's your hitch that's been added. All right, so we've been working for a few minutes on this job. I'm going to go back to the times, and it shows here today's date at 2:37 is the start time for this job. I'm going to now click on the stop button, and then you'll notice it takes us here, and this job is no longer showing as work in progress. Now, as you open that up by double clicking, you can go back to the Times tab, and you see that they started the work at 2:37 and then ended the work at 2:42. Lastly, on this particular job, they can click on the Complete button in the upper right corner, and if you want to complete that job and return to the dashboard, we'll click OK. And just a couple of other things we'll go over from the text dashboard is the last jobs they may have completed here, and it shows the repair order number, the repair job number, along with the start date and time and the end date and time on those repair orders that were recently completed. One other thing that a tech can do from the EverLogic mobile app is add a new job. Now this is seeing the ROs that are available for him to work on, and when he wants to start one of these jobs, he'll double click and open it up, and these are some options that he can choose from. He can add in the problem, the cause, and solution. All right, and then add that. And you'll see it has now moved down into his open jobs. Let's do one other thing before I sign out here, just to point out, James Bond is a technician, and all he needs to be able to view is information regarding a tech. So he only has the option to see the tech details. There is a help function if necessary. And then we want to remind you to always have your employees to sign out when they're not using the EverLogic mobile app, so it doesn't take up one of your licenses. All right, let's this time go in and log in as a sales rep. All right, we are now on the dashboard for a sales rep. We will see the work stats, including customers entered this week, customers updated this week, new quotes, and deliveries this week. The sales rep can add a customer from the dashboard. This is a quick entry, so you'll not see all of the details that you would if you were to be adding the customer from EverLogic desktop. But you can always go back to the desktop and add in additional details if you would like. Okay, I'm going to go back to the dashboard and see how they can also start a new quote from the dashboard. Again, this is a quick quote, so you're not going to see all of the details that you would on a quote form in EverLogic. Instead, this is a quick quote form. You can always then go back to the EverLogic desktop version to add in additional details to the quote. Okay. I'm going to go back to the dashboard and point out at the bottom, it does show our recent deals that this salesperson was working on. It includes the deal number. As you double click on it, you'll see it opens up the specifics that are on this screen for that quote. It also includes the unit and the customer name, along with the status of this quote at the far right. Okay, this is a salesperson's dashboard. Now, as a salesperson, you will not see the tech option on their navigational panel. They are not a tech, so they don't need access to the tech dashboard. However, they can click on quote, which will take them into a quote search, and they can search by name or unit. They can also click on new to start a new quote. Remember, this is the quick quote form. If they click on the customer icon on the left, they are able to search for a customer. And if it's one of the current customers listed, you can select that customer, or you can click on add a new customer. And again, this is a quick entry for the customer. And then lastly, for the sales rep, you have the inventory icon. They can search for the inventory, and you see multiple pages of these units in inventory. Or they can also add a new unit to the inventory, which again, this is a quick entry. So once you've done the quick entry on the EverLogic mobile app, you can always go back to the desktop version to add additional details if necessary. And then that's it for the salesperson. Always have your employees sign out, so you're not using one of the licenses. And then now, and lastly, I'm going to log in as a manager on the EverLogic mobile app. As a manager, you'll have access to all of the icons on the left side, including inventory, customers, text, quotes, and then back on your dashboard as a manager, you'll be able to see work stats from the previous week, customers that were entered and updated, also within the last week, new quotes and deliveries. You can add a new customer or start a new quote. Remember, those are quick entries. And then anything that was recently opened or assigned at the bottom, along with the reference number, price, the unit and customer, and the status. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of the EverLogic mobile app. And we are done with today's lesson, so let's make sure that we've gone through everything on the agenda today. We covered the tech scheduler. As a technician, we learned that you can go in and update the problem, cause, solution, and status. You can also add a start and stop time and complete work. And then as a manager, you can also make changes to the problem, cause, solution, and status. You can adjust the start and stop time and also complete the work. You can assign technicians. Remember, work can be continued on the next day. And then we went over the reports that's available to you. And then in the mobile app, we signed in as a technician, where they have a dashboard. They can open jobs, and they can look at different service jobs to update times, vehicles, images, and parts. And then the salesperson has a dashboard. They can also add in customers and deals. And then lastly, as a manager on the EverLogic mobile app, you'll have access to all of these options. Thank you so much for joining today on behalf of myself and everyone here at EverLogic. We appreciate you taking the time to join us, and be sure to stay tuned where we will learn about the end-of-day process in EverLogic.